Magic. When did you first get into magic?
Ever since I was a small boy, I've had an interest in it. When I first got my first little magic set as a present, and I'd always watch magicians on TV, whether it be Paul Daniels or anybody. Always had an interest in that, and would always show people my tricks, however crude they were, from a very, very young age.
So from a young age to what you do now, how did that journey take place?
Well, about 6-7 years ago, I packed in my job to work. My wife works full time, as we had a baby girl, and we decided that I was going to stay home and look after her. My wife was going to work. Then I had a boy come along, and now he's almost at school age, and so I was looking to get back into work about 18 months, 2 years ago, and so I started showing people a few tricks on the school run. Most of the mums, they liked it, and they suggested perhaps I could do it as a living. Going back to when we got married, we had a magician at our wedding, which was 10 years ago, and I thought, well, there's a market for it, and here I am.
So there's a market for it. So where have you been performing, and what? I know you do magic. What was it you do? I do close-up magic. So I do it rather than on stage. I do sort of small groups. So I mingle at weddings or corporate events. West Ham United Football Club, I do their hospitality suites on match days. Just moving from table or from group to group, just showing small groups tricks. When you're moving from table to table, do you get a vibe of some tables that are going to say, great, here comes a magician, and others who are going, oh no, here comes a magician? And what do you do in both cases?
Absolutely. People quite often are looking for it, and they'll beckon you to come over because they love it. And 99% of people do enjoy it. There are a certain few people who just don't like it for whatever reason, quite often because they don't like not knowing what's happening, I think. And they'll tell you they don't like it, and generally they will remove themselves from the situation to let others enjoy it.
Do you have to practice?
All the time, yeah. With new tricks, you have to practice and practice and practice before you get it right 100% of the time. If you don't, you're going to look silly when you go out and do a trick. Some tricks you can pick up fairly quickly, and others you just have to keep going and going until you get it right.
Is there an element? What's the percentage element of a knack and the element of this is a craft and you need to develop and practice your craft?
I think you need to develop the craft as much as the trick. You need to develop your presence with people as well. A trick you can master sometimes quite quickly, the actual mechanics of the trick. But to actually deliver the trick in an entertaining way can take a little bit of skill as well. So, but that comes with practice. That comes with doing it live as well. So you're practicing all the time.
You mentioned Paul Daniels, who played here last month. What about the more modern magicians? I guess we call them like Dynamo and David Blaine. Which, if they call themselves magicians, illusionists, etc. What do you think of these guys?
I think they're great. It's given magic a resurgence. On TV. It's becoming much more popular now. Journey to these guys, Dynamo in particular. Whenever I'm doing a gig, people always say, "Oh, what do you think of Dynamo?" He's great, and I copy some of his tricks. I watch him on TV. I see how he's done. Great with TVs because you can pause and rewind and watch it over and over again, and then you can work out how they're done, and then I can incorporate that into my.
Can you do that? Because I'm just watching. I don't think. I imagine I could Sky Plus or stop it, and I'll never figure out. But you can deconstruct it.
Yeah. Once you've got the basis of magic and you've got the basis of a few certain tricks, you can kind of, even if I don't know quite how he's done it, I know what he's got to do the trick or to get the result, and so I'm watching for those. It's like Penn and Teller. They do a show called Fool Us, and I do several tricks that I've seen on there. But again, I can fool Penn and Teller because they only get the one opportunity to see it. But when you can see it over and over again, and you're looking for the certain things that you know that they need to do, so you can look for it.
When you perform, are you performing in places? Do you perform in places in Harlow, and if so, where? And do you go further afield?
I go all over. As I say, I West Ham on match days. I'm at Chepstow Racecourse this Saturday. I was at a wedding locally in Melon Groves on Sunday. Furthest I've been is Brisbane for a 40th birthday party. So I'll go anywhere.
You went to Brisbane for a 40th?
Yeah.
What happened there?
It was a 40th birthday party. It was a family member, but they wanted us out there to do it. Didn't want anyone else, so I was the man for the job. Okay, what I'd like you to do, you just pick a card from any card. That's it. Take a look at the card. It's important that you remember the card. If you want to show the card to the camera as well. Now, what I'd like to do is sign across the face of the card.
Okay, here.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so pop the lid back on now because you're on dirty. Lovely. If you just give me the card face down, what we're going to do, I'm just going to pop it in there around about halfway down. Okay? Right, now can you tell me what card it was?
7 of hearts.
7 of hearts, and you saw it going what, about halfway down, wasn't it? If you look at it now, it just jumps to the top. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop it back down. I'm going to take it off and pop it there. Okay? If you could just hold your hand out for me. Okay? What I'd like you to do is put your other hand on top. Okay? I'm going to take your, was it 7 of hearts from there? I'm just going to click my fingers and it's going to change to the 5 of clubs. But now what I'd like you to do, just relax your grip on the cards. I'm going to see if I can locate your 7 of hearts in there.
Oh, wow.
There it is, signed. Now for a big finish, what we're going to do, we're going to count down from 3, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to make the cards disappear. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. They've gone. Okay. You're laughing. I'm not talking about those cards because you saw me throw them on the floor, but the cards in your hand have actually disappeared. Can you open up your hands and let's have a look? Show it to you. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.